Hello there, welcome to my views and news. A few hours ago, top Ethiopian politician Jawar Mohammed was interviewed. For almost a week, we have been waiting for this interview. What did Jawar say? Around 85-minute long interview. Jawar is one of the leaders who led protests 2016 protests that led to the dismantling of the EPRDF. A new era started. His views are important because he has the capacity, the capability to mobilize people. And he has been accused of being in secret alliance with the government. People sometimes accuse him of being a hardliner, Oromo revolutionary. So, what did he say in his interview? What is my impression? I have got all the translations from different sources, and now I'm going to share my analysis with you of Jawa's interview. Uh, Firstly, Jawar should be commended that he did not provoke anyone, he did not say anything provocative, anything hateful in his interview. By the way, since I started covering Ethiopia around 3 years ago, I found Java to be very mature. Though before 2018 period saw a different Java when he was accused of being a hardliner. But uh, I mainly covered his activities after his release from prison. So after his release from prison, I saw a Java who has not been fiery, not provocative. The good thing is that he did not spread hate. He did not lash out at any Ethiopian ethnic group, firstly. Secondly, he was calm, he was composed, well prepared too. As always, his interviews always start from 2016-17 when he led protests against EPRDF government. Same happened to in this interview too, that the interviewer started questions about his struggle, his when he led the protests. Then Hachalo's murder came to discussion, and Jawar refused to disclose those who are behind Hachalo's murder, though he gave a hint as if he knew who perpetrators are. Interesting. If he knows who killed Hachalo, he should tell the people, but silence. He did not say a word about the identity of the perpetrators. Then 2018, how Abiy came to power, EPRDF was dissolved, and he raised questions about how EPRDF was dissolved, how TPLF uh, could not be integrated into the new political structure. And then he talked about war, Eritrean, he talked about the need for engagement between Ethiopia and Eritrea. And he never fails to mention Eritrea. I think he believes that Eritrea is a key factor when it comes to bringing peace and stability in Ethiopia. So he mentions Eritrea in almost all of his interviews, that dialogue with Eritrea should happen. What are his views about the government? Because I wanted to listen to him mainly because I thought that he would propose a solution. Jawar is not an analyst. He is not a journalist. He is not an activist. He is a politician. He is a deputy chairman of a party, political party, Oromo Federalist Congress. So we were hoping that Jawar would not only share a roadmap for change in Ethiopia, rather he would tell how he will lead the struggle. Is he ready to lead this struggle? The fact that interview was conducted in Kenya and Jawar is there indicates that he does not want to be part of any struggle to bring about change in Ethiopia. People have been waiting. They wanted to listen to Jawar. Around 500,000 views so far of this interview. It means people were hoping that Jawar would propose something, not just propose, that he would lead something. Jawar proposed change. And what he proposed makes sense. Even a beginner knows that the solution is dialogue. That is what I say. I'm an outsider. That a comprehensive dialogue is the solution with involvement of all players, armed factions too, talks with Eritrea too. I've been proposing talks between Tigray Eritrea to Ethiopia Eritrea to talks with involvement of Fano, Ola, Tigray, federal government, army, church, all should be part of discussions. And he also proposed discussions that talks should be held. Question is he an analyst or a politician? An analyst, a journalist analyzes situations, analyzes political landscape, scenarios. Analysts, journalists don't start political struggle. They're not politicians. They just analyze situations. Jawar presented himself as an analyst, as someone who knows Ethiopian politics, yes, but who is not ready to do something to bring about change. Why? This is the question, why? Either he is part of the system, he is a beneficiary of the status quo, or he is scared. He does not want to be in prison again. He was released last year, at the start of last year. Only two reasons. Either he's scared, that is why he's in Kenya, and he does not want to start a political struggle because he knows that the day he starts political activity, he'll be thrown into prison. Or he's in secret pact with the Prime Minister of Ethiopia. What did he say about the Prime Minister? What are his views about the Prime Minister? He said that, yes, change happened in 2018, but people are not disappointed for different reasons, because the conflict, one after the other happening, and government has made mistakes. But change did happen. And he attributed to dissatisfaction with PM Abiy's government to what happened in Tigray, to Pretoria maybe, release of Sabbath Naga. It led to alienation between those who were supporting the Prime Minister and the government. I think he was talking about the distancing between Amhara hardliners and the Prime Minister. That the Amhara hardliners were not happy with Pretoria, with Sabbath Naga release, and then they parted ways with the Prime Minister of Ethiopia. Largely correct. So he did not say that the root cause of all evils, all problems in Ethiopia is one man, the Prime Minister. And by the way, that is what armed groups say. Pano, Ola, even now church as well. They are saying that removal of one man is mandatory for change, for peace, for stability in the country. Jawar criticized the Prime Minister while being a little restrained. He talked about the mistakes made by the government. TPLF could not be reintegrated, and comprehensive talks with all the armed factions could not lead to any big change, though he hoped that talks would continue between the Ola and government. And he said that the conflict in Amhara was avoidable. It could have been avoided. Again, I would conclude by saying that Jawar should have told what are his plans. Is he going to propose negotiations, talks, dialogue like all the people who are covering Ethiopia or monitoring Ethiopia? Or is he going to do something to bring about change? If he believes that government is making mistakes, who will correct the government? Government is not listening, maybe. Who will raise the flag? Who will risk his life? Because obviously, in Ethiopia these days, starting a political activity means you are calling for imprisonment. That is what is happening, by the way. So Jawar is not ready to be part of an armed struggle, which should be appreciated. Skandar Naga, frustrated with political struggle, resorted to armed struggle. Jawar is not resorting to armed struggle. At the same time, he is not ready to start a political struggle. He will keep on giving these interviews, analyzing the situation in Ethiopia like a student, and waiting for his time, maybe. I think he is waiting for his time. How will he come to power? Through some pact with the government, through international powers. That is what he knows. We don't know what are his real plans. But for me, Jawar's interview was the interview of an analyst, of a journalist. He did not propose anything of which he is going to be part of. If talks, negotiations are mandatory, what role is he going to play? If government is promoting a conflict one after the other, how can Ethiopian people stop the government? Is anyone going to lead a peaceful political movement in Ethiopia's silence? So for me, no ray of hope for Ethiopians after listening to Jawar. Though he did not talk about just Oromo issues, he should be appreciated for that. His support base is Oromia, but he did not condemn the activities of Fano or other groups in Ethiopia. He spoke like an Ethiopian. He was not talking just from Oromo perspective. That is what should be appreciated. But question is, what is he proposing, and is he going to be part of the solution or not? If he proposing talks with involvement of all the parties, how will talks be held? Who will lead the talks? Government has formed only National Dialogue Commission, which is just a tool to appease international community. The government is ready for national dialogue. The commission is doing nothing. So how can Jawar force the government to come to his agenda? Or is he part of government structure? Maybe some secret structure. Let's see what happens. So far, I did not see anything groundbreaking, anything significant said by Jawar showing that he is going to lead struggle to bring about change in Ethiopia in coming days, weeks, or months. Thank you for watching.